There are religious apologists out there who seem to do everything wrong, and no matter how many times it's pointed out to them, it always seems to fall on deaf ears. This time, Zack, over at Adherent Apologetics, tries to respond to atheist comments on his videos in a way that doesn't actually foster any kind of intelligent discussion. Because what else is new, right? Alright, let's go watch. You know, I keep saying this, but I'm honestly not trying to pick on this guy. But he's rapidly becoming the poster child for how to do absolutely everything conceivable wrong in religious apologetics. Now, he's certainly not alone, but he's quickly becoming a one-stop shop for almost every conceivable failing that the religious engage in, and he's seemingly incapable of learning any lessons along the way. Now, he does respond to a couple of atheist comments in a new video that we're going to look at today, while continuing to show that he doesn't really get how much of anything works. So, let's try to educate him once again. Take it away, Zack. One of these days, hopefully you'll understand.
I released a video in late August called 36 Questions to Ask Atheists.
And without tooting my own horn, I kicked your ass up one side and down the other in my response. You have desperately been trying to weasel some semblance of credibility out of responding to my response, but nobody is buying any of it. And that's the very definition of insanity, trying to do the same thing over and over and over again and expecting to get different results. But okay, Zack, go for it. This ought to be good.
As you can guess by the title of the video, this video is simply 36 questions for atheists.
36 bad questions, many of them intended as gotchas to allow you to push your religious agenda, not questions that you seriously wanted any credible answers to. But as I've pointed out with many of these apologetic questions aimed at atheists, they're not being asked because the apologist wants to understand atheists better. They're being asked to give the apologist a platform to preach at and presumably try to convert atheists to their religion. And it never, ever, ever works out well for the apologist. Now, the other reason that they do it, because let's be honest, they're not really making these videos for us, the skeptics. They're only making them for their followers to reinforce their faith. It's why things are phrased the way that they are. They're just pretending otherwise. But anyhow, get on with it. I don't think this is going to go any better here than it does anywhere else.
Thanks to some atheists' response to this video, I received over 100 comments on this video.
Probably all from atheists, and not at all from your own followers, because, as I've pointed out in the past, none of your own followers, at least people on your own side, actually seem to watch your videos. They certainly don't get into the comment section and defend your views. In fact, I just went and looked at your comments on this very video, and 100% of them are from atheists. Zack, you're a laughingstock. You have to do better than that.
And thanks to some YouTube atheists responding to these questions, 87 dislikes to date.
And that makes you happy, I suppose. A lot of Christians want to be a joke so they can pretend that they're being oppressed. Oh no, poor Christians. People are just laughing at them. Well, that must mean that they're right. No, that's not what it means.
I appreciate the love, atheist community, and because I appreciate that love, I'm going to respond to some of your comments from the video.
Badly, I'm sure. Now, I'm wondering if this has anything to do with the fact that I brought up that he doesn't respond in the comments of any of his videos. He doesn't talk to his detractors. Here, he might talk at his detractors, but he certainly doesn't engage in a rational back and forth with people who are pointing out just how laughable he is. Whereas atheists, by and large, at least in my experience, we are actively engaged with the people in our comment sections, both those who support us and those who attack us. Now, I will give Zack credit for leaving his comments and ratings open, because we all know many apologists don't. But what's the point of having people respond if you're just going to pretend it isn't there?
So let's dig in. This is going to be fun.
I'd agree if you actually cared enough to directly engage, instead of just talking about it and not being part of a back and forth conversation. But you do you, I guess. So off you go.
Richard J. says, "Why are you so far behind that you still believe that there are any gods?" Gotta love the lowercase g.
Because that's grammatically correct, but, you know.
Well, Richard, I'm actually part of the growing majority of humans that believe in theism.
Not in the first world, not where, alright, this is going to sound bad, but not where humanity really matters, where all of the advancements are made, and where most people on the planet really want to be. But sure, if you want to celebrate people without indoor toilets, you go right ahead.
As you can see from this graph from Pew Research, Muslims and Christians are growing while atheism is dying. But don't worry, atheists, the religiously unaffiliated will grow almost as much as folk religions will in these next 45 years.
I've already addressed that with much better numbers elsewhere. And funny, if you look at his graphs, Christianity is growing at less than half the rate of Islam. Maybe you're not right after all. Your God certainly isn't doing anything to help you out, is he? But hey, if you want to celebrate being number 2, you do you, pal.
Dave Norman says, "I think most theists are just afraid of saying, 'I don't know.' So insecure that they stick their fingers on their ears and scream, 'la la la la,' instead of facing the fact that we're just not that special." Well, Dave, I have no issue with saying, "I don't know." I never said it in this video or any videos, "I don't know, therefore God exists."
Except you do. You just said it yourself. You never said in any of your videos that you don't know. You are taking your ignorance, and there's nothing wrong with being ignorant per se. We're all ignorant of many things, but the difference between the religious, in this case, and the skeptics is that while none of us know the answers to these questions, some of us keep looking, and some just adopt an emotionally comforting belief and insist they've already got the answer. You don't know any more than anyone else. You just hate admitting it.
In addition, in no argument from any serious apologist for the existence of God or for the truth of Christianity, you will never hear in those arguments them say, "I don't know, so God."
But that's really all they're saying. You're just reinforcing Dave's point. You don't know because you have no rational basis for making a claim of knowledge. But you have strong beliefs that are not based on knowledge, but on faith, which you instead take as knowledge when it's anything but. You clearly don't know what knowledge is in this context. When we're talking about knowledge, we mean facts, information, and skills acquired by a person through experience or education, the theoretical or practical understanding of a subject. You have none of that. None of the things that you believe are based on objectively verifiable evidence. None of it is based on demonstrable experience. None of it is based on confirmable observation, nor can be backed up with testable experimentation. You've got nothing but your emotions, and you notice what doesn't appear in the definition that I gave. Emotions. Figure it out.
So please, stop making things up. Oscar Gordon says, one question for theists. Are you actually interested in a dialogue, or are you just having fun repeating the same old questions that we have answered over and over again? Actually, Oscar, I'm very interested in dialogue.
Then why don't you ever respond to comments in your own comment section? You are not talking to people. You are talking at them. You could have easily addressed all of these questions had you just gone down into your comments and, responded there. Then you could have had a back and forth conversation. Like normal people do. Instead, here you are just making another video, which is just one way. You out, not back and forth. And people are responding in the comments to this video, and once again, you are not responding to them. I don't think you understand how any of this works.
I'm responding to an atheist video right now who made a response to my 36 questions.
That's not the same thing. Okay, so maybe you don't get it. See, if you wanted to have a conversation, you could have come over to my video, posted your questions and comments in the comment section of that video, and I would have been happy to engage in a discussion with you. But that's not how you chose to operate. You chose to make video responses, and that's perfectly fine. I mean, that is how YouTube works after all. But thereafter, you still refuse to engage directly with people commenting on your videos. Did you need to have this explained or what?
And I'm finding that atheists have not answered these questions well. That's why I'm asking them.
Except we have. We just aren't giving you the answers that you want. Because once again, the whole purpose of this was just as an apologetics tool, not as a means of getting information. You're not curious about what we have to say. There is no answering well if you're curious. Our opinions are what our opinions are. Instead of just being curious, though, you expected us to fall into these obvious apologetic traps that you set up, and when we didn't do it, because they're blatantly obvious and we've seen them all a million times before, you got upset because we're not doing what you wanted us to do. You seem to have this very flawed understanding of how questions work.
Time Shark says, FYI, the Nazis were Christian. Well, Time Shark, just because someone says that they are a Christian doesn't mean they're actually a Christian.
Oh, good. The no True Scotsman fallacy. Because we haven't heard that one before, right? See, here's a little bit of knowledge for you, Zack. You don't get to tell anyone who is a Christian and who is not. Now, you can have your own opinions, of course, but those don't mean a thing to anyone but you. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there who think you're not a Christian too. So what? Reality is not a popularity contest. Anyone who says that they're a Christian is a Christian, at least as far as I'm concerned, just like anyone who says they're an atheist, well, they're an atheist so long as they fit the definition. Logically, you can't be an atheist and believe in a God. Otherwise, yes, you are. And it doesn't matter what anyone does while being a Christian. It doesn't impact you at all. I'm perfectly fine with Stalin being an atheist. He was a complete asshole, but his atheism doesn't reflect badly on me any more than Hitler's Christianity reflects badly on you. Stop reacting emotionally and just try to make some sense, okay?
Look at the 2020 Democratic primary candidates, for example. The Nazis said that they were Christians when they were trying to gain power to avoid a conflict with Germans.
Nazis were Germans? Do you think they were space aliens or something? Never mind. Go on. The ignorance here is just too strong to bother refuting.
Also, the Nazis slaughtered millions of Jews, Eastern Europeans, and more because they believed that they were superior. Social Darwinism is the cause of that idea. Not Galatians 3:28, which says that there's neither Jew nor Greek, slave nor free, male nor female. Additionally, there are no serious professional historians that say that Hitler was a Christian. Just stop making things up. This is not true. Hitler in public supported religion just because he needed his followers to like him, but in private, he hated it. Thanks for listening, guys. I'm Zack. This is Adherent Apologetics. I'll see you next time.
This is what happens when you have no clue what you're talking about and you really don't care to find out. It's what we see when we talk to people who are so self-involved in their beliefs to the point that they can't see anything outside of their self-imposed religious bubble. He asks questions without understanding how questions work. He gets mad when people don't respond the way that he wants them to respond so that he can react in his own nefarious ways and achieve the goals that he wants to achieve. He's ignorant of history. He operates with a constant stream of logical fallacies. He says he wants to engage in an open dialogue with his detractors. Then he refuses to actually respond to their comments. How are we supposed to take any of this seriously? But this is how most apologists work, and it's why all of them fail. They aren't concerned with having any kind of a serious defense to their beliefs. They're right because it makes them feel good to think that they're right, not because they have any actual evidence to present in support of the things that they wish were true. And then they get mad at the people who point out just how wrong they are. This is not rational behavior, but religious belief is not rational. I'm sorry you keep doing everything wrong, Zack. We're trying to help. We really are. You're just not paying any attention. Maybe that's why you don't seem to have anyone on your side. That's kind of sad, you know? Maybe you should do better.
Bum